Hi guys, it's me Zippy. Today is the 1st of March 2022 and I'm making a video today since the award season is come and it's here and it's in full swing now and since the Oscars are this month and they're coming soon, I wanted to do basically a little video on movies I watched this year and my thoughts on them. And actually, I might mention a few TV shows too, but mainly the movies. So I'm going to talk about those things, and then after that, give you my thoughts on what I liked, what I didn't like about them, and stuff like that. And so yesterday I watched the reason for this idea is because I watched the SAG Awards yesterday, which actually they aired before, but I recorded it on YouTube TV, and I was like, okay, I am really interested in some of these movies. Like some of these movies I didn't watch, I'm gonna watch them now. You know what I mean? But back to the ones that I did watch, some got nominated and some were actually winners. So I wanted to go and talk about what my thoughts were because I feel like 2021 was a really, really good year for movies. 2020, not so much. But 2021 was a really excellent year for movies, and it's almost like how do you even surpass that going into 2022? So hopefully people can and TV shows of course too, until we get new seasons of some of our favorite shows. So let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm gonna go into House of Gucci, and I'm gonna give this a rating of out of 10. I would say out of 10, I would give it maybe, let's see, a 7 or an 8. I'm gonna give it an 8. This is a really good movie. I heard people talk about you know, it's kind of like satire. It's kind of like not realistic. It's kind of like almost not like comedic at all, but like it's like kind of exaggerative, and it's kind of like more than life. You know what I mean? Like it's really like animated in a way. But I think that kind of makes it more interesting. You don't want a dry movie. You don't want a movie that's kind of like boring you and whatnot, and just kind of like drones out and stuff like that. Like you don't want that. This is a movie that I was really intrigued in, and it is a drama movie. But I think there's so much stereotypes about drama movies, like in Oscars and stuff like that. There's so much like, oh, they're so boring and they just keep going and they're just so long you know and it's confusing and whatnot. But this movie, I feel like, really pushed the envelope, and it really like went against all those stereotypes about drama movies. It was so colorful and it was so like engaging. Like I never once felt like bored. I never once felt like, oh my gosh, this is so boring. I don't want to do this anymore. And I didn't feel like really confused. There were some little instances with the technicalities of like what happened between Paulo and his dad, like what happened with the contracts and someone didn't sign, like the Jeremy Irons character didn't sign the contract or his will, I think. And that was a little bit confusing because it's like, okay, what? They didn't really explain that well. It's kind of like you had to figure out on your own. But everyone did a really good job. I'm gonna go talk about how they did it. Jeremy Irons is one of the people who like was very like very promoted in the movie. Everyone was promoted really highly. But him and Selma Hayek were so promoted, and they don't have like a really big role or purpose in the movie. I would argue that Selma Hayek does more than even Jeremy Irons' character. But Jeremy Irons was good for the like 5 minutes that he was in the movie, so I'll give him that. They could have used him more, I'll admit, but I will admit I just kind of wish they used him more, to be honest. Selma Hayek's character, though, I mean, Selma Hayek, come on, she's an amazing actress. You could have given her like more lines. But it's like she didn't really. It's like they didn't really utilize her as much as they could have. She was a psychic. She was someone that apparently is friends with Lady Gaga. And spoiler alert, yes, they conspire in a plan that ends up with Sorry, this is gonna be a spoiler alert, but ends up with Maurizio basically getting killed by a hitman. So that happened, and basically you see her kind of become more of a figure towards the end of the movie. Now Maurizio, Adam Driver did a really interesting job with this character. I felt really empathy for him. But then when he started cheating on his wife, and he started cheating on her and sleeping with another woman, and then he had a daughter already, and he was kind of like forgetting his daughter and coming to her bus soccer game. That was like when I was like, okay, my empathy is totally gone for this character. Like he did a really good job. I could feel like no, especially the scene where like Patricia is like pleading with him, like please come back for our daughter, for our family, and she's outside, and he just walks out. He just is at the door and he's like listening to her, and he's like, "You married a Gucci," you know what I mean? Like that was so like iconic. Like yes, thank you. Like he made me feel like this character. I was like, yeah, I feel like bad for him. Like the Gucci's don't understand him, you know what I mean? And his wife helps him so much, and then it's like he doesn't care. And then at the end of the movie, he is killed. I'm like, oh, I'm back to square one again. Now I feel bad again for him. So, although some people maybe will be like, oh, I don't feel bad for him, but it's like, it depends. So he did a really good job in making me feel differently for the character. Now we have Jared Leto's character, Paulo, which I think was very larger than life, but Jared Leto did a really good job, and I'm glad that he's getting the Oscar nominations with Lady Gaga for this role. His transformation, I don't know if it's a bodysuit or if he just gained weight because he looks like he's back to being his skinny self again. But I honestly feel like he did a really good job on that, and he really made it emotional too. This character is like basically mistreated the entire movie by his father, by not like mistreated him physically, but just like no one really believes in him, no one gives him a chance. He has creative ideas, and he basically dies alone and kind of as a loser in a way. And it's like, wow, no one really gives him the time of day. And he has all this ambition, and it's just like he's just so undervalued. And he's like a huge underdog, even though this beautiful, rich family, you know what I mean? And then his father is interesting too. But I didn't feel like, okay, Al Pacino did a really good job. But for his father, I feel like he did a good job in making me not feel like bad for him. Even when he was like going to jail because of Patrizia, I didn't feel bad for him. I was like, okay, like I just feel like Al Pacino did a really good job. And I don't know about everyone else. I think Jared Leto is Italian too. Al Pacino playing an Italian for like I don't know 100th time is like great. So that's another plus. But everyone did a good job. Oh, and Lady Gaga is Italian too. As for the accents, they were pretty interesting. I've heard some not so good things about the accents. Like it was kind of like, you know, it depends. Some people did good accents, some didn't do good ones. Some people think that Salma Hayek just had she didn't put an accent on. It was just her regular Mexican accent. I think they tried. I guess the issue is consistency with the accents, but honestly, the accents is not a huge thing. We're not gonna be like, oh my gosh, this movie sucks because its other accents aren't perfect. Of course not. House of Gucci was really fun. I really was entertained with this movie, and the ending was really nice. Although I admit it was kind of, I don't want to say rushed. I don't know. It kind of was rushed at the end. I feel like a lot of movies I've watched this year have been kind of rushed at the end. But it kind of, tied up the loose ends in a way. And I left knowing like, oh, this is what happened to the Gucci. So I wanted to actually learn more. So I went to Wikipedia and whatnot. I feel like everyone did that. They searched after watching House of Gucci, like House of Gucci, fact versus fiction. You know what I mean? Like, is this real story? So if it's real, are some things exaggerated? Yes, they do. They do say that in the beginning of the movie. They literally say some parts are exaggerated in the beginning of the movie. So don't like get mad about that. But I really enjoyed it, and I'll give it a really high score. So I'd watch it again too. Next one is Free Guy. I watched Free Guy at an IMAX theater, so that means I really had a great experience. Seeing it so up close with the visuals, and I know that it's actually nominated for best what's it called? Best Picture. Oh, sorry, not Best Picture. What am I saying? Best Special Effects movie. And I would say that it deserves it for sure. The storyline is pretty. It wasn't my. The storyline was kind of not my taste. I don't know. Like it just like I love video games. Don't get me wrong. I actually love how they did that. I love finding little details and how like these NPCs. I just love how they kind of you would know like there were some gamers who were like on the screenwriting team. Like you just know there were some gamers there. But I honestly just love how it's so well done in terms of the effects. Like it's so good. Ryan Reynolds plays like a clueless kind of character, like an average Andy kind of character, and he does a good job too. Um, so when it comes to like realize, oh, this world around me is like it's kind of like what's it called? Jim Carrey's movie, The Truman Show. It's like he's in a fake world, you know. It's like this world he's living in is not real. So I think that was a really good job how they did that. I enjoyed seeing that kind of evolution of like, oh, this is fake. I need to get out of here. I need to tell people. You know what I mean? I'll admit the whole thing was kind of confusing a bit. You know, the whole idea of it of like an NPC who is rebelling against the video game and okay. But Jodie Comer was in it too. She's from Killing Eve, and she did a good job too. I'm not sure why they had a British accent, a British person play an American who has a British accent. Like, what? I don't understand what the point of that was. Just make her British or make her American. I don't know. Like, honestly, it's not a big deal. But I think she was good. She was kind of like badass too. And I think her and Guy had like a thing going on. It wasn't clear though. I'm gonna be honest with you. It wasn't that clear. Some things in the movie were kind of confusing. And also we have Taika Waititi who plays the game developer. His role wasn't that huge. I mean, I guess it was kind of like a medium-sized role, but I think he was good. It was kind of a bit exaggerated, but I guess Taika Waititi is kind of like that in a way. But overall, I mean, the storyline is kind of like everywhere. I was confused, but the effects were really good. Oh, and little Rel Howery is there, who I love. I loved him in Space Jam too. So, which also came out this year, but I'm not gonna cover every single movie that came out this year. It's gonna be like a whole day. We're gonna be sitting here. But I really enjoyed his character whenever it came on screen. So this movie, I'll give it like 7 out of 10. Next one, who should I do now? Who should I do? What? Okay, that's not bad. Keaton Richard. Oh my goodness. This was a really good movie. And I think actually last night or 2 nights ago, Will Smith won the SAG Award for Best Actor, and let me tell you, he deserves it. He deserves his Oscar. Like, if he doesn't get the Oscar for Best Actor, then what's going on? I'm not gonna watch the Academy Awards ever again. Or I won't take it seriously. Like, honestly, everyone can agree with me on that. If he doesn't win like Best Actor for this, then who deserves it? Like, are you just telling me Denzel or Benedict? You know what I mean? Like, they're great actors, but come on, this is Will Smith. He's been doing this stuff for like what, almost 30 years. Give him an award, give him not even just for 30 years of career, but just for this role. It's so good. I watched this movie and I really loved it. The girl who plays Serena is just literally her clone and her twin. I think people should really appreciate the casting director because that's crazy, Literally, she looks just like her. She even has the gap tooth. She looks just like Serena when she was younger. Like, if you don't know that, search Serena when she was younger, and you'll see the same exact image. The girl who plays Venus, it doesn't look much like Venus, to be honest, but I guess the height, the body shape is kind of similar. She does a good job, too. And the movie's really about the dad, you know what I mean? I guess you could say. And his drive, his ambition, and I think it does a really good job in showing that. And Will Smith character, whenever he was like getting beat up, I always felt like my heart just sink. It's like, oh my goodness, like that was so hard for me like to deal with. And then you have John Bernthal who plays one of the coaches, Rick Macy, and he does a really good job too. And I didn't know what to expect from that from the character, but he supports Rich's idea. Although at first it's like most coaches, it's like, that's not how I do it. Apprehensive, hesitant. But later on, he's like, okay, I think he knows what he's doing. I like that kind of evolution. And I think John Bernthal is like a character actor too, so it's good to see him like in this kind of role as well. But anyway, and also the mom, the woman who plays Oracene, Anaju, I can't say her name, Anaju Ellis, does a really good job. Everyone keeps saying that she looks just like her, and it's true. I mean, she does a really lifelike, realistic job. This movie is like so realistic, like I can't even. Takes you back to the 90s or the 80s in California, and just really plants you right there. And just like everyone, even the other sisters in the movie, they looked so much like realistic people. You know what I mean? Like they look like and act like this, like the actual people. So they did a really, really good job in that regard. This movie, I would give it. I mean, what do I? I mean, do I give it 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10? This movie is so good. There's some things I wish they could have done more. They didn't incorporate Serena as much as I wanted them to. I know it's the early years. It's more about their beginning story. Maybe it'll be another movie where they had to talk about the achievements. I don't know. But oh, there's also a Beyonce track that might be winning best original song, although we still have Encanto. So what I'm saying though is that I wish they had more Serena in the movie, especially towards the end, just like she disappeared completely, which is kind of like unfair. Although no, I know it was Venus who was debuting and who was her first tournament on the WTA tour. And then I also just feel like it's not much to really complain about. It was just really just how I felt about maybe including more themes. I would have liked to see more stuff. So I'll give it 9 out of 10. But besides that, it's an amazing movie, and I would recommend anyone watching it. Now, let me see what other movie I should choose. Don't Look Up. Don't Look Up is a movie that honestly is so like it's so extra. Like I can't even it's so funny. No, but this movie was interesting, it was interesting. I watched it with my cousins and actually watched four I don't know, so many movies with my cousins. It is basically, you know, a movie about it's almost like comedic and without putting the comedy in your face, without saying it's comedic, you know what I mean? It's kind of I don't know, and also it's very satirical in a way, but it's done like a very smart way, in a very smooth, suave way, and I really enjoyed actually the movie. Um, just to say that though, it isn't my cup of tea exactly. You know what I mean? I love Adam McKay movies. I've watched Vice. I also watched Big Short. I didn't finish it though. I'm sorry about that. I didn't finish it. But he has a new one also coming, a new TV show coming on the Lakers. So that's interesting. But Don't Look Up was pretty. It was pretty. It was pretty. It was almost all over the place. I'll admit there was some really good. I mean, acting was amazing. Kate Blanchett. I didn't recognize her at all. Honestly, I did not recognize her at all. I just didn't see her, and I found out later she's in the movie. I'm like, what? That was her? She looks just so different. So that was pretty good. Tyler Perry's in the movie too. They both play two news anchors who basically are not. It's kind of think of it as a whole joke. They don't believe in anything that's going on. And Catherine, gotta say Catherine. Kate eventually ends up having an affair with Leo's character, who is a scientist who. Okay, it wasn't believable that a scientist looking like him at that age with such inconfidence, with such, I mean, he just carries himself like he's not really sure of himself. It's not believable that that kind of guy would be with a beautiful news anchor. I'm sorry, I said it, but okay, that was the only thing that was realistic. But it's not a realistic movie, I mean, it's about a whole comet coming to destroy the Earth, a meteor, an asteroid. Meryl Streep is a female president, which is great. I love that. And I really enjoyed her character as well. Very much anti science. So she was totally against the whole idea of oh, we're gonna have a meteor. But she also says she's people from Harvard, not Michigan. So it's kind of like a jab at how the elitism is played in America. Then we have also Jonah Hill, who looks a little different. He's kind of lost weight. He does a good job as his son, and I enjoyed that movie. And then also we have Timothée Chalamet, Kid Cudi, and who is it? Ariana Grande. Sorry, my mind blanked out for a second. They play a song that's kind of included there for a few seconds, but it was a good song. And I'm not sure what the role of those people were, honestly. It wasn't that. of a huge or significant role. It was kind of like, oh, let's put Ariana Grande and Kid Cudi in a role, you know. And Kid Cudi I haven't seen in a long time, so that's like shocking. Um, Ariana Grande hasn't acted since like I don't know Victorious or Sam and Cat. And Timothy Chalamet deserves a big role in that. Come on, like can we? I think he just like was like, let me just get whatever role. Like I don't care. I'm not trying to be a main character. I'm just trying to have some fun. I think it was like a side project thing. But he eventually has like a thing with a little fling with Jennifer Lawrence character. Also is a scientist. She's also well she's like a postdoc or a student. Um, and I just love her deadpan humor. And everyone loves to see. I just love how she was so upset about the snacks and getting charged $10 for snacks that were free. That definitely would happen in real life. I know people who would do that. So I love that. But overall the ending was pretty interesting, I guess. I mean I kind of feel like the ending was kind of like, you know, like confusing, like what? You know? Everyone died? Like literally? Like I don't know, I was thinking it would be like, oh, there's no asteroid, we were wrong. Instead it was like everyone just dies. We only see the comet striking the Earth, so we don't see anything else. And then later on we see everyone's kind of prepared for the worst though, so we kind of see that. And later on we see after the movie, the end credits, we see, oh, there's this person, that person. There's this kind of group of people who survived the whole asteroid hitting, and basically they were kind of like freezed in time, freezed like those time capsules that you're freezed in. And then Meryl Streep's character dies because she's eaten by a dinosaur, which is kind of stupid. But everyone is not wearing clothes, so I'm not sure what happened. All I know is that it was. It's like, oh, we're here on the new land. We're here. We're here. And it's like, oh wait, we have a new threat now. Instead of an asteroid, we have dinosaurs or whatever those animals are. So it's like, oh, okay. My rating for the movie, I would say 6 out of 10. I liked it, but I wanted more. I'm always like that with movies. I always want more. Um, it felt like towards the end it kind of dragged out, you know, with the Timothy Chalamet character and with the scientist and whatever. Like I kind of felt like it was forced and kind of like, what's going on now? Like as soon as everyone like realizes that asteroid is coming, everyone becomes like so like complicit or content. And then also I just feel like after the whole rally thing with Don't Look Up and Just Look Up and that whole thing of like, oh, there's an asteroid in the sky, you guys are lying. After that, it kind of like just kind of goes in a different direction. But I honestly just really enjoyed the movie though. It was good. I just I don't know. There were some things I would have done differently. Either way, it's a good movie and it's my score. So now I'm gonna talk about TV shows. I will cover Eternals, Spider-Man: No Way Home, and Black Widow and Shang-Chi in my other video on Marvel movies, which has yet to come out. So just just to know that. Um yeah. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and end this movie not movie. This whole program with TV show that I think was the clear winner of 2021. Your favorite, Squid Game. This show, I literally binged it for like a whole like I don't even know. I watched it so quickly. It's crazy how fast I just like watched all of it. But it was a really good movie. Movie. Well, it might as well been a movie, I guess, with how you know amazing it was done. But I really enjoyed this TV show, and I think it was like how much 10 episodes? I think it was, and they were each like an hour long. I think so, like 10 hours. But it was really good, and I honestly have like no complaints about it. Like there were just some things I can say. Oh, I have questions about like what happened in the end, and why is Gi-hun's hair red? The old man is the person who's in charge. Like what's going on? Is Gi-hun gonna take over? What happened to the guy who was looking for his brother? Those questions that you kind of you're left wondering about. I think the most part they did a good job tying the ends. Like, I'm not gonna talk too much about this TV show, because I feel like it's gonna be like a long conversation of like everyone already watched it. But I'm gonna just share my thoughts on like the ending and stuff like that. I thought Jihan having the money and not basically giving it or using it at all for like, I don't know, a whole year was kind of unrealistic. I mean, come on. This guy was so desperate before, so I guess it was in a way showing how much he's changed. It's kind of like blood money, you know? It's like this money was taken from like 455 people had to die for me to have this much money. So it's kind of like he feels like remorse and regret. So like I get that if that's the intention. But honestly, I feel like they did a good job with Gihan's character. I mean, he had an evolution in a way, and he's still he's definitely a main character, like a relatable kind of guy. And I like how also the first episode or the first two episodes were basically exposition. Like that was pretty interesting. Like they didn't rush into it. Like, okay, we're in the Squid Game, we're on the island, you know, not island, but we're in the ship. And we're here, and we're gonna go straight into it. It wasn't like that. It was like everyone kind of built up their story arc, and you could see what's happening, and also why is everyone so desperate. I love how after everyone, you know, was let go, and they were all told, okay, you can leave now because you voted to leave, and you can leave now. So I love how when they did that, it gave everyone a free choice. So no one, I mean, the first game, everyone wasn't really given a choice. After that game, everyone was given a choice. They could see, okay, after all this death and destruction and mayhem and chaos, do you actually want to join? If you do, the card is there. You can come over. But honestly, like the way we could see like how can you be so desperate to even like put your life on the line for money? You know, like how can you be so desperate that that's the last resort for you? And so they did a really good job in showing everyone's stories. Everyone was kind of in a tough spot. For example, Gihan, his daughter was gone, and he basically was like a dad who was divorced, and now his daughter lives with his wife's like new husband and their son, and they have a new family and a new life, and they've moved on, and he's still here behind trying to gamble and whatnot. Then we have the other guy. I can't see his names honestly. So I can't say his name. Um, graduated from SNU, and he still can't find a job, and he still is unable to find employment, and he's in this tough spot. You think, oh, he's this person who went from SNU, Seoul National University, and he's so good, but he's struggling like everyone else. And that's like the most realistic thing. I feel like I think that everyone was so realistic, but that one is like the most like close to home, because I know people like that who graduated from really good universities, and like they still are struggling. They still like don't know where they're headed in and what direction they want to go in. So I felt like really like lifelike and realistic. We have the girl who was basically a North Korean defector, and she came with her brother, and her brother like is in an orphanage, and that was pretty like hard hitting. Like, oh my goodness, it was like, okay, wow, like we see actually the politics of North Koreans. The North Koreans are how they treated, and even when she's in the game, she's like people call her North Korean defector and all these names and stuff like that. And they also have Ali, who's an immigrant who comes and is basically mistreated by in this new country of his, and he loses like a finger or something, I think, and he actually kind of like kills someone accidentally, and he's his boss, and so he's on the run every time, and so this is kind of a way to like, I don't know, like start a new life, and because his family is back home in I think his family back home in India or Pakistan. I'm not sure where he's from. I think the actor is from like India, and the character is from Pakistan. Um, so yeah, so he's basically a laborer in this country, trying to get a better life. And then we have other characters too, like the bully, and we also have the lady who's kind of crazy, who kind of likes the bully and is really into him. And we have the old man, who is whose story isn't really told until we finally see at the end oh, he's the one who's been running the whole thing, or he's been organizing this thing and this tournament for forever. I think I named all the characters. Yeah, and there's also one guy who's like, there's like inside information about like which the game is next and stuff like that, and he helps them with like shipping like um package not shipping but like with the whole like getting body organs like hearts and stuff like that, and then I don't know what they're doing with that. I don't know if it's like they're selling them or something like that, but that was a pretty interesting storyline. It's just that it kind of ended so abruptly. Like, why are the organs being harvested exactly? Like, this guy just died so quickly, and that could have been like a very good like storyline to keep going on, like keep showing like where do these organs go? Does this guy know everything about the next game? Like, could we see that happening? But the whole like, point of him cheating basically was too much for the game master. So I guess we wouldn't have found it. Wouldn't have been a fair game either way. I like the story. People may be like, "Oh, I don't like it," but I like the storyline with the whole brother looking for his brother. That was pretty interesting. I feel like he found some clues, and after Gi-hun came in, it was like there was a game going on, and people are dying, and everyone was like, just got to him. He was like, first he was like, oh, yeah, this guy's crazy. Then he was like, wait a minute, my brother, isn't he might be here? And so he didn't know where he was, and then he goes over to the island, and then he just in the whole season, basically he's going ahead and like looking for him and trying to find him, and then for him to be the game master at the end, that was like an amazing way to do it. And of course, this guy is not dead because we literally see him shot in the shoulder. Okay, if you watch movies or K-pop dramas, K-dramas or whatever, you would know that that is not going to be the end of someone's character. They will come back again. The shoulder, chest, well, yeah, they're dead. But shoulder, no, no, no. They're gonna be back again, so don't even think for a second that this guy is gone. Anyway, um, who else did I miss? Oh, the character, the teenage girl who plays marbles with the North Korean. That was heartbreaking. That was the whole part where they play marbles is just like probably the saddest part of the whole show. And I love that show. I love that episode. That was like I think the best episode of the whole show. That was like so sad. I feel like also just like the lighting and the whole setting and everything like that. And like when the girl was like, "It was so good playing with you," and go to Jeju Island for us, for the both of us. I was like, "Girl, that's not." Yeah, that's just like too much. It's just too much. I can't with that stuff. And just her smile. Whew, I can't. It's too much to make for me. So, anyway, that was really sad. Even though she was there for like a really short time, she captured my heart. And I don't know how come we never saw her, because like there's only like two girls, not two girls. I don't know. Like how come we never saw her before? And that kind of bothered me. It's like we never saw her until like that game. Like, are you sure? Even I feel like I looked at the crowd and I never saw her even in the crowd. So that was kind of weird. But anyway, it was so heartbreaking. And the old man too. The whole thing was like, oh, stupid marbles, and saying, oh, you lost the game, or the marbles. Like how Jihan was basically like tricking the old man, and the old man knew all along, and he was like, is this how you play fair? You shouldn't be doing this to people, but not like in a like you shouldn't be, you know what I mean? But like in a so that's how you play. You know what I mean? Like kind of like okay, now I know your tricks. So the way that they did that was like, oh, he knew all along what was going on. And then Jihan felt so bad about it too. And then the old man was apparently killed, but it was off screen. Once again, off screen deaths don't count. But that was really sad. And then the whole idea also, the ending was really sad because Jihan and his friend wanted when they were playing Squid Game, Jihan wanted his friend and him to both survive, which is impossible, but I hoped for it too. Until the friend actually killed himself, which actually was funny. Not funny, sorry. It's kind of goes back to like how he was trying to, use oxygen, like carbon dioxide, to kill himself, and that's actually what happened. Actually, I saw a whole thing like online about like every way. that every way that the Squid Game characters died was alluded to in the previous episodes when they were still like not on the ship playing the game. And that's the same thing that happens there. Like he dies of suicide when he was trying to commit suicide too. So it was like sad because it's like, oh my goodness. I don't know. Like I guess he was like, okay, we can't both win, so one of us has to go, and it's me. You know? I don't know. I think maybe it was like I've committed so many wrongs. I'm not really wrongs, but I don't have anything else in life. At least you have a daughter. At least you have a, you know what I mean? At least you have a mom. Well, we both have moms, but you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I don't know what his thinking was, but I'll admit there's questions you have, but there's also some really good like resolution you get as well. And the ending was just amazing too. It was going in a different direction. I'll admit it was definitely like interesting seeing Gihan, just you know in real life again, and how it was so hard to adjust to real life. That was proved to be a huge challenge for him, but it was pretty interesting to see him kind of evolve in a way after all that time. And his mom kind of also was good in the money. Not his mom. His mom died. Yeah, his mom had like a stroke and then I think she died. But the mother of his best friend from SNU, she was given all the money, which I think was really nice. And then the brother of the girl, the North Korean, was basically given to, I don't know, adopted by taken in by um the SNU guy's mom, which I thought was like a really nice way of like closing the ends, tying the ends. So that was really like interesting, and I feel like that was really good to kind of like bring some closure to everyone. You know what I mean? Because in a way, it's like she can't get her son back. For the mother, it's like she can't get her son back, but now she has like a new son. And for the boy, it's like he doesn't have a caretaker. He doesn't have a sister with his sister with him, but now he has someone to take care of him now, in the form of the mother and the mother of the SNU guy. So it's kind of like a way of kind of everyone getting what they wanted in a way, albeit it was a very sad way to go. And I think it was an amazing show. And also the last episode, I wouldn't have known was coming. The old man turned out to be this guy who was like in charge, and the game master is the brother, and it was so many just like really shocking reveals.